Hello everyone, my name is J.E. Marie and welcome to Sol, also known as a student of life. And today our topic is helping, them versus you. Now, the idea behind today's video is that so many times and so often in life, we really want to help somebody else, but we're not actually able to provide the help that we need. Now, today we're going to be breaking down some questions about our intentions behind helping people so that we can actually know how to move forward. So I have 3 questions. Obviously there's so many more routes to go about this, but I have 3 questions today that all start with why, in terms of why you are wanting to help them. But they're a little bit more specific so that we could take kind of a little bit more of a guided path. Now the first question is, are you wanting to help them because you're confident that you have the solution to their obvious problem? I say obvious because oftentimes when we perceive someone else's problem, it's only at surface level. And this will cause us to sometimes do more of a band-aid effect. And what that means is that we are solving the issue that we see, not the real underlying problem. And a good amount of times that solving the underlying problem requires us to have more information than we actually have. Usually that person that has the issue is the only person who can access that within themselves. And whether or not they know how to access this information is a different story. And frankly, it's not your responsibility. But knowing that you can't move forward, honestly, it's best sometimes to try to direct them someplace else. So the second question is, are you wanting to help someone because you are uncomfortable around others who are struggling? Now, for one reason or another, some of us, not everyone, but some of us have had experiences or just wired in a way that makes us either people pleasers or control freaks. Now, sometimes people like this, I would classify myself as one of those people. Sometimes we get so uncomfortable watching someone go through something that it causes something within ourselves, and this makes us want to do it for that other person. Now, in these situations, you might find it a lot more beneficial to direct that energy inwards and ask yourself where it's actually coming from. And you can see this in the form of overbearing mothers or in relationships when you're really just wanting to do everything for that person because you don't want to see them struggle, which is okay. But it's important to know that struggling is a very important part of learning. Very important part of learning. And honestly, you're hindering someone else's process if you don't let them struggle through specific things. And I don't mean everything. I don't mean just let them go through the rain by themselves. That's not what I'm saying. However, it is very important to know when you yourself are being overbearing and when you're actually being helpful. So the third question, obviously very much tied into the second question, it is, are you wanting to help them, but you're really just projecting? So put very simply, it is easier to see this. So very simply put, it's very easy to see the solution to a problem when it's someone else's problem and not necessarily our own. And sometimes removing yourself from the situation and taking a step back allows for more clarity in finding that said solution. But it's often why we can see something wrong. That's often the reason why we can see something wrong in someone else's life when really that situation is only paralleling our own. So what I would recommend here, and the biggest takeaway for actually all of these questions, is don't be afraid to put yourself under a microscope to see how you can improve and how you can change before doing the same thing with somebody else. And again, do not be overly critical, but just make sure that you know where you are coming from before you push a situation off on someone else. Even if they are going through something, it might be helpful to analyze your own situation and see how the solution you gave actually might be the solution you need. So the last key tip that I actually really want to add is that Sometimes the people that we care about really just want to feel listened to. They're not actually looking for you to solve their solution. So sometimes they'll just dump whatever they're going through off on you and it'll make them feel better. Sometimes they'll come back next week with the same problems, same issues, just like they did last week. And that's okay. That's okay. If you're not okay with that, then I would suggest you telling them that they need to find another friend for that, or a therapist, or however you like to go about that. However, sometimes people don't want you to solve their problems. They just want to be listened to. So just know that a complaint doesn't always mean that they want you to do something about it, unless that complaint is about you. Now that's all for today. Again, I am J.E. Marie, and I wish everyone the best on their SOL journey. Bye!